timeshares criminal because they are, but they're legal. They're legal.
Right.
So at the end of the 3 days, they take you out in the hallway. If you're ready to do it. They will give you the lowdown on the price and what it is to get involved with them as a partner.
Oh, boy.
Minimum to get involved with these knuckleheads as a partner, $75,000.
What?
Grand.
And what do you get for that?
Not much.
Oh, wow.
They want you up at the presidential tier, which is the $1 million mark.
Okay.
You know, $950,000, $850,000 to get involved with them. We'll get you flipping houses. We'll get you buying properties and flipping them. We'll get you making profit like you ain't never seen before. Okay, this has gone wild. You remember back in the 06, 07, 05, everybody flip this house. Let's flip it.
Well, that was the whole thing about the housing crisis.
Oh, that's the name of the show, Flip This House.
Right, there we go.
Okay, so why would Trump, being approached by somebody to do what everybody else is doing, making big money, why would you not do it? Trump University. I don't blame him for doing it. I just don't think it was a good idea.
Well, I mean, I would think that if he were about to do this and some little somebody, I don't know, jumps out of a time machine and says, Trump, I'm from the future. Don't do this because one day you're going to want to run for president, and this is certainly going to be the one thing that they can really, really hammer on you about. And I find it interesting. What is every single presidential candidate that's failed? What's the one thing that they almost always get them on, or at least put a huge hurting on their campaign? They find somebody from the distant past that hates them and has something on them, right? They'll find somebody. What is this Trump University thing? It's an indication that they can't find a single person that knew Trump personally, that'll say anything bad about him.
It went bad.
Think of I guarantee you, Trump has met and known people personally. I'm talking the number of people that he has known personally over the years has got to exceed what I know personally over the years.
It's got to be in the tens of thousands.
It's got to be way more than me personally.
Right.
It's probably way more than you listening at home, right?
Right. Combined.
Why haven't they been able to find? So what do? They can't find a single person that knew or knows him personally that's willing to come out and say, yeah, he's a bad person. He did this to me. And for those of you who are going to read about this, you will know instantly this is the mark of a bad character. They can't find any of that. So what do? They say, well, let's find somebody that used his product and see if we'll find anybody.
It is upset about the money they spent and the money they never made. And they were told that you get a picture by a cutout cardboard of Trump.
Did you hear about the ad that they made with one of these former students that they had to pull? They were going to make. They had this whole ad made.
Well, probably, and I'll
let
you.
It made.
Okay, go ahead.
The guy testified. He was a student at Trump University. He got scammed. It was terrible. It was a horrible thing. And because of that, Donald Trump's a bad person.
Right.
They ended up having to pull it.
Okay, why?
Because that guy left a positive review on Trump University right after he finished it.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
Okay,
so there's people lying about it. Whatever.
Wait, because there's probably money involved. But think about it.
Well, I mean, everybody wants their 15 minutes
right.
of fame. That's what it is.
So there's thousands of people coming out against Hillary and Bill Clinton for rape allegations. Yet, in spite of the FBI, or not the FBI, the IRS coming down on them every time they speak up, you go to the audit board and you're getting hammered down. They're still speaking up in spite of the IRS hammering down on them. Okay. Did you hear the break? We're getting into gossip, but did you hear the Rubio breaking back door story?
Breaking back door story?
Yeah, it's a back
Oh,
story.
you break. Oh, it's a backdoor story.
So
but it's broken.
Apparently, there's been a lot of things going around on the internet, and I give it no thought whatsoever when somebody says that somebody chooses a different lifestyle partner that's alternative. Wow. And I just whatever. Everybody's okay. So we're accusing everybody of everything. Okay, well apparently when he was 18 and his best friend was 18, 19.
So they were of consenting age.
Correct. They went to this
mountain
park area.
Oh, okay.
It was a park area after dark and subsequently were arrested.
Really?
There's an arrest record on him.
I did not know this.
Now, a lot of the arrest record has been purged.
Okay.
Apparently. But the article goes all into they interviewed the Dade County this and this county sheriff, and they interviewed this one and that one, and they started going through all the this particular park in Florida is known for prostitution, drugs, and cruising. Not Ted Cruz, but cruising. And I looked at my wife. I talked to her about it in Los Angeles, in Long Beach, California. There is a section of the beach that is notorious for male cruising.
Okay.
You don't, when the sun starts going down, you go away.
All right.
You just know it. That part of the beach, you don't even mess around. And if you see somebody over there, you know what he's doing, just keep going. Don't even look. It's a fact.
Okay.
This part of the beach in Florida, this park area, is notorious for multiple arrests, prostitution, male, female, either or, cruising, whatever. And so Rubio and his friend were caught there. Okay. Rubio goes about his ways. His friend goes about his ways. Well, his friend, later on in life, becomes a very well-known adult filmmaker in the male film making.
Oh, boy.
And subsequently had been arrested and lawsuits filed against him because of what he was doing and not filing the right paperwork for this type of business in this area. So it's well documented that he's been involved in all of this. And so the whole article rounds it out by saying, okay, so is Marco Rubio lying to us? Can we have a president that's a, an alternative lifestyle liar? And I'm like, okay, come on, man.
I'm not. Yeah. So you're saying that he knew a guy who later on went on to make male-oriented videos.
Right, but he was but before the videos were made, he was arrested with that. That was his best friend.
They were arrested together.
Yes, in the same car. At that park.
Ooh, yeah, that doesn't sound good. But, I mean, according to my sources, Rubio is married to what appears to be a woman.
Hey, she is beautiful.
I mean, maybe it's prejudice on my part to see a person with long blonde hair and no facial hair and call that a woman.
Well, you need to ask her what her orientation,
what she
identifies
because she may actually have the parts that would identify her
as a white woman, but she feels and she identifies as a black man.
Right, she could definitely do that. And so that's why we have to be sensitive here on Smith Radio. And we have to first find out for sure so that we do not offend anybody.
I know. And if she identifies as a South Korean gypsy, okay, that's fine. Just let us know, and that's how we'll roll with it.
Right. So so we'll call it it. Or is it shim? Oh, wow.
Kids are telling teachers to refer to them as it, him, they, we, she. Yeah.
You mean shim?
Shim.
Or wait, I don't even know.
Shim and
I don't know.
That's shim.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
It's all shim. It's all shim. From here on out.
Oh, anyway.
Woo, let's get this thing out of the gutter.
All
Get
right.
back up on the freeway.
Woo.
Okay, now that we slipped on that awesome song.
We need to tow this thing out of the ditch. Anyway.
So Trump was on Slay the Nation today.
I saw him on the other show, Deface the Nation. I didn't see him on Slay the Nation.
Deface the Nation? I thought it was the same thing.
Slay. Oh, what's the other one? There's two shows. They compete with each other at the same time on Sunday morning. Deface the Nation. Slay the Nation.
I've got him on Face the Nation.
Okay.
I've got him.
That might have been what I saw.
So he was being taken to task by this guy, this interviewer person, of sorts, and waterboarding came up.
Oh yeah. I have a lot to say. And before we play this, Brian and I were in the military, and we were trained as such, especially on matters involving Geneva Convention and stuff like that.
Torture as well. I mean, granted, I was in the Air Force, so I did not experience the things that Carrie experienced in the Marine Corps.
Because I actually had combat training, and
I had training.
What combat training?
So I had training.
Well,
just training.
Yeah, I thought it was classes.
It was class training.
Anyway, yeah. So we got to learn a lot about the kind of decisions that you have to make based on what would be allowed, ethical, and in compliance with Geneva Convention.
Well, that's when I learned that if someone's parachuting out of an airplane, it's against the Geneva Convention to shoot at him.
You have to wait till he's on the ground, and he can't be surrendering.
No, he's got his gun in his hand. He hits the ground, pulls his gun out, locks it, loads it, and you see that he's ready to fire the bullet. Then and only then, once you see the whites of his eyes.
Oh, no. There is some rules of engagement, and it varies from place to place, and depending on the circumstances. There are a lot of places where you can't even fire your first shot until after you've been fired upon, which is...
Okay, Trump had something to say about that, too.
All right, well, let's hear what Trump had.
Trump is... You got to understand, folks, the world that we live in today...
Oh, and I'm going to explain how this works.
Okay, and all that... Just because we haven't been reporting on all the beheadings... or the pseudo-beheadings, or maybe the drownings. Don't think that they stop.
It's kind of hard to fake burning somebody to death in a cage.
Right.
That's pretty hard.
Or putting them in a cage and dropping it underwater.
Well, they could have a hose under there to breathe through or whatever.
Well, when they pull the cage out, everybody's limpid. They no movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, they could be faking, whatever.
True. So just because you may not hear it on the news, don't think it ain't happening. It's happening for real. So and I left the narrator, the questioner, I left his question in at the beginning because I just want you to hear
the condescension,
how he's coming off.
Oh, we're going to blow this up. You're going to hear what you need to hear, and you're not going to hear it anywhere else because a lot of these journalists that you're reading from on the internet don't have the military background. But go ahead.
Now, this is a decent clip. I need you to hear the entire clip, and then we'll go from there. So here we go, 2A.
Let me ask you about your position on torture. When you and I talked last week, you said that General Hayden was wrong when he said that the military wouldn't follow you on the question of waterboarding and on the killing of terrorist families. In the debate, you said, if I say do it, they're going to do it. You were talking about the military. Then on Friday, you said, I will not order our military to violate those laws.
Well, you never asked me about violating laws, in all fairness. You weren't talking about violating laws. I would say this, look. We have an enemy in the Middle East that's chopping off heads and drowning people in massive steel cages, okay? We have an enemy that doesn't play by the laws. You could say laws, and they're laughing. They're laughing at us right now. I would like to strengthen the laws so that we can better compete. You know, it's very tough to beat enemies that don't have any restrictions, all right? We have these massive restrictions. Now, I will always abide by the law, but I would like to have the law expanded. I would like to make... Well, I happen to think that when you're fighting an enemy that chops off heads I happen to think that we should use something that's stronger than we have right now. Right now, basically, waterboarding is essentially not allowed, as I understand it.
And you